Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad to be talking to you today. The FEDSAS Centre for Technology is very aware of the fact that we are using technology more and more in this very disrupted and disruptive time that we're living in. Over the past years, the FEDSAS Centre for Technology has been talking and actually promoting the sensible use of technology in the learning and teaching process for better outcomes. And very suddenly, we're all there. Technology and change is something that happens slow and slow and slow, and then suddenly it's there, and it just dawned on us with the COVID-19 lockdown time. But with it comes a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities, and the way that it impacts and influences our lives is already visible. I'm speaking to Hennie Vorster, an educational psychologist today, about the impact of the extended use of technology in our lives. We see learners spending a lot of time on technology for school, and then elsewhere for other purposes, maybe more YouTube and games and Netflix. We see parents working from home and being involved with technology. And I find it myself. I spend a lot of time on online meetings like this one, like a Zoom, and find myself being tired at the end of the day, and I'm not sure about it. And then the third component in the learning process is the teacher component. And my heart goes out to teachers that, number one, is starting to, they've got to swim. They jumped into the deep end in a lot of cases and had to start learning new tricks and new techniques in delivering content. So it's new ways of applying their skill, and also a new methodology and a new platform in using that. So today we want to focus a little bit on that, how we can support teachers in this slightly overexposed technological lockdown time. But there's something strange that happens in my mind and in my heart. So Hennie, can you shed some light on the issue? What is it that's happening in our minds and in our hearts with more contact online and very little or zero contact in the physical?
Yes, Rian, thank you for this opportunity. I spoke to a teacher this week, and he says to me, now with online teaching and online technology that we're using, we are so task focused, we're focusing on the task, but we've lost the human connection. And I think this is so true. And I think the other reality that we are sitting with is when we are online and we're teaching online or having meetings online, my brain says to me that I'm physically in the room with the person, but my body is constantly saying to me, no, you're not. And this dissonance between my head and my body makes it so difficult. Also, when I'm in a room with someone, I can break eye contact, I can read their body language, I don't have to be as focused. But now, online meetings, online teaching, all I can see is their faces, and they can only see my face. So I've got to pay so much attention and give so much concentration to what's happening. So I just want to share today one or a few techniques, tools that we can use to make things easier for ourselves. 8-9 weeks ago, we were all given an airplane ticket. Not one of us saved money for this. Not one of us wanted to buy this airplane ticket, but it was issued to us, this flight CV19, coronavirus. We are sitting on this plane, and we're all in this plane. And I think the difficult thing is, initially when I sat the Sunday evening and listened to our president that said to us, we're going into lockdown, my first reaction is, but who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? And now we are in lockdown, and now we're on level 4, and hopefully one of these days on level 3. But it's unknown times. And as teachers, we have to find new ways of getting information out, or new ways of teaching. And kudos to all the teachers that have jumped on this bandwagon and done it. But not one of us in our degrees ever had training in terms of Zoom or Microsoft Teams or other ways of teaching. So we've had to learn along the way. So just a few things that we can do. And I want to use the analogy of being on a plane before the plane takes off and it's taxiing out to the runway. The aerostess always comes up and they give you a safety briefing. And the first thing they always talk about is the safety belt. And they say, I've got to tighten the safety belt nice tightly around my hips. And Even if the light says I can loosen the safety belt, they advise that I keep it tightened. And the safety belt symbolizes for me that I've got to ensure that I'm grounded. I think in a time like this where we are going online so much, it's easy to lose the reason why we are teaching. And the reason why we are teaching is to make a difference in children's lives. It's not just to give them an education, but I might be the one caring adult that they see that day. So I've got to remember why I am doing what I'm doing, even if it is an online class, to still try and have that connection somehow with the technology. They also talk about the emergency exits, and unfortunately on this flight there are no emergency exits that we're allowed to use or can use. But this is just the practical things of, I must know how I can keep myself and people around me safe, in terms of wearing a mask, in terms of hand washing. And when we go back to school, we need to encourage the children and the pupils in our class to do it in the correct way, so they can keep themselves safe and we can keep ourselves safe in the process. They also always talk about the oxygen mask, that if the cabin pressure drops, if, an oxygen mask will drop. But what they always say is, if you're traveling with a child or someone that requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist the other person. And I think as educators, one of our amazing talents that we have is we want to help other people. And we're helping the children, we're helping the parents, we're helping our colleagues. But in the process, I'm not paying attention to myself. And I can only give of myself if my cup is full. So somewhere in my daily program, I need to work something in that's actually recharging my batteries, whether it's exercising, reading a book, knitting, whatever floats your boat. Do something that recharges your battery, because I can't be good to other people if I'm not good to myself. They also talk about the safety jacket, and the safety jacket symbolizes to me who are my go-to people. Who is the person that when things are difficult for me, that I can go to him or to her or to them and to say, I'm not coping at this stage. And I think we all need to be honest with other people around us and say things are difficult. I've also got to remember, if I am someone's go-to person, I need to actually reach out and contact that person and say to them, how are you doing? How are you coping with this whole situation? When we talk about hand luggage, I think it's important that we understand we all have got baggage. We've all got things that we bring in. When I'm teaching online, when I'm in a meeting online, when I'm talking to parents, when I'm sending an email, when I'm back in the class teaching, I've got to realize I've got my own anxiety, I've got my own emotions, and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I could be feeling sad that day, is to try and not bring that into the lesson, because the children pick up my anxiety and then they become anxious, and that's not good for them. It's also important that my brain needs to know what's going to happen. And in these uncertain times, we don't know what's going to happen. So a nice, easy way to create that knowing what's going to happen is routine. And Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not to act, but to habit. So if I am following a daily routine, healthy routines, it's going to make my brain less anxious, because my brain knows what's going to happen. So I need to do things like, I must look after myself, I must eat healthily. During lockdown, and I'll be honest, our family did it one Saturday, we binged watched Netflix from 9 o'clock in the morning till 2:30 the next morning. And we ate all the chips in the house and all the chocolates, and I drank too much red wine, which wasn't good. But in the process, I also have to look after myself. In this time, I need to eat healthily, because when I'm eating healthily, my body is going to feel better. I need to exercise, because exercise helps me to sort my emotions out. When we're on level 5, I've got a small property. I was running my 5Ks around the house. So I had to go around my house 49 times. It was extremely boring and I didn't want to do it, but it was necessary for me, for my own mental health. And then also my sleep routine. I need to be able to have a healthy sleep routine where I go to bed approximately the same time every night and wake up the same time every morning, because my body needs that sleep routine to be able to sleep deeper and to be able to look after itself in the process. I think in lockdown, what very often happens is we are spending time in the same house with our families. So I'm saying to myself, I am spending time with them, but is it really quality time? So somewhere during the day, we need to make time as a family to spend quality time with my family members, whether it is cooking a meal together, having supper together, building a puzzle. Because when I'm connecting with them, it makes me feel more human. It makes me feel there is purpose in my life. As I've said, be good to yourself so you can be good to other people, so that you can fill other people's cups in the process as well. I also need to understand that I need to forgive myself in the process, because all of us are learning. Every one of us is learning. Even the president had to learn how to put on a mask. But we have to forgive ourselves if we make mistakes. Don't focus on what you still need to do and still need to learn. Look how far you've come with technology. Look how many things you are doing. Online classes, sending out videos via WhatsApp, jumping onto Microsoft Teams. I mean, we all have come such a long way. And Charlie Mackesy always speaks about, but it's important that I understand that in this time, it's okay not to be okay. We are all experiencing anxiety. We all experience times when we are depressed or sad or feeling overwhelmed. And that's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. And we are all in an abnormal situation. So there are going to be days when I feel like doing nothing. There are going to be days when I'm overwhelmed or anxious. And that's okay. And I've got to remember it. In his book, The Boy, the Mole, and the Horse, Charlie Mackesy draws this picture and he says, "What is your best discovery?" asked the mole. That I am enough as I am, said the boy. And I think I have to remember in this time that I'm doing my best. I'm really trying to educate children, to connect with children, to build into their lives. And I must stop being so hard on myself. I also want to encourage you in these times where things are uncertain and are difficult, is reach out to people that can help you. You're welcome to contact me. FEDSAS has got amazing support structures. Your schools have got amazing support structures. Reach out to your colleagues. Tell them, I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that. One of the schools I work with has got such a nice team structure that the teachers have said, you know what, I'm very good at maths, so I'll put out all the maths worksheets. And other teachers said, well, she'll do all the English worksheets. I don't have to do everything myself. We are in a team together. So reach out to people and really talk to them and encourage people to talk to you as well. And be honest in the process, because if I'm always just saying I'm fine, everyone's thinking everyone else is fine, and they feel bad about themselves. But actually, at this stage, no one is fine. We are all just trying to cope, and that's the important thing. So yes, that's a few of my tips that I'd like to share with you today, and really try and implement it and see if it makes a difference.
Hennie, thanks so much. I think it's very valuable. I am a very avid traveler, so I like having my passport stamped. I think I can do that safety briefing at the beginning of a flight off by heart because I'm just so interested in it. But the analogy is brilliant. I think let's be grounded. Let's use those safety belts, the oxygen masks for ourselves, and then look at those safety jackets. So much, so much valuable information, and thank you for that support. We really want to give a shout out to our teachers in this time for the hard work they're doing, and want to support them with this. I told the school the other day, I think it's probably possible that we should be spending 60% of our effort now online on the relationship and 40% on the curriculum, because that's what the missing link is. The kids don't see each other in class, the kids don't see the teacher, and their instability is noted, you know. So maybe spend more time on connecting and less time, although the curriculum is important, less time on the curriculum. But yeah, thanks so much for this input. We really appreciate that, and we want to support our teachers and be very cognizant of the big strides that are making. Something else that's very pertinent is the safety part of the safety feature, is the fact that because we're spending more time online, I want to urge you guys to be very responsible digital citizens. Parents, make sure that you know what your kids do on their devices. We don't want them to land at the wrong wrong airport, even if they've got the tickets and they had the safety briefing, they might be flying to the wrong destination. So make sure that we are responsible digital parents, responsible digital citizens, as well as the teachers. Let's not get bogged down in a lot of details and searching websites and going to the wrong places and chasing every new link that we see. Yeah, let's look after ourselves. Let's be healthy and well in these times. Hennie, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll have another discussion on this. Thanks for your support and input. Yeah, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Rian. Thank you for the opportunity.